You are now listening to Operator.
Hi, this is Atiyyah coming through to you from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, visiting from Cape Town, South Africa, and today I'm presenting an hour-long show based on the records I've brought through. I'm here at the moment visiting to present two sonic lectures around African history, archives, politics, and South Africa and apartheid. So today is just a presentation over an hour of some of those albums. So here we go.
بالكرامة ثم يساب بالكرامة ثم يساب عايزين عدو الله ثم يساب
جافاني قسمت لجيراني النوم يا اخواني قسمت لجيراني النوم جافاني قسمت لجيراني يا ناس طول ليل حاس يا ناس طول ليل حاس النوم يا اخواني قسمت لجيراني انا هزاني حبيبي ليه هزاني ليه هزاني وش المنام خلاني النوم يا اخواني قسمت لجيراني النوم جافاني قسمت لجيراني انا يا ناس طول ليل حاس يا ناس طول ليل حاس النوم جافاني قسمت لجيراني عسيل تنقى هيا العسيل عسيل تنقى عسيل تنقى عسيل تنقى هيا العسيل عسيل تنقى حبيبي ليلي هجة بسمك أبيض قطن الحواشة فقا النوم جافاني قسمت لجيراني النوم يا اخواني قسمت لجيراني يا ناس والليل حاس يا ناس والليل حاس النوم يا اخواني قسمت لجيراني انا ودرتيني ودار كويتيني بنار.
So I just wanted to say thank you and a big shout out to Operator Radio for having me on such short notice. We literally got this together yesterday. But, you know, it makes it worth it to be traveling to another country with records, which are very heavy. And, you know, it's really cool to be part of the radio experience here. And, yeah, I think that, so we started off with some Takamba music from Mali, which is one of my favorites to play. And most of the time for my sets, it's really building like a sound journey through the continent. And then moved on to some music from Sudan, and also thinking about playing sounds as a way to remember a people and a place. And part of the work that I do is representing a collective called Future Nostalgia, which is focused on listening. It's a collective of people and also a regular event that tries to put together listening sessions in South Africa, and really looking at listening as the way we do research, and the way that we learn about everything in the world, really. So, you know, this is just also trying to remember the place we're at the moment in the world, and with several genocides and displacements of people happening. And so Sudan becomes very important, you know, in this conversation. And the next tune is also from Sudan by Ostinato Records. It's Nuri and his Dopa band. So here we go.
asi vachinditya ini mandiseka iwe mandiseka iwe mofa yanhingi yotofira babawo mwakanditenga ndirere zvangu vakomana chorira chimbote nharo vakomana woye regai vaparara varare zvavo iwe regai vaparara varare zvavo iwe zvamunoniita handizvide zvamunoniita handizvide
Of course, the great revolutionary Thomas Mafumo with a track called Chamunarwa from the album of the same name. And before that, I played some Mbira music from Zimbabwe. And recently, I was really lucky enough to travel to Zimbabwe, and it's definitely a place we all need to check out. Harare was incredible, and once you realize how influential the Mbira was throughout the world, and the fact that Thomas Mafumo basically transcribed Mbira to electric guitar, and was one of the first people to do that, and a whole sound comes out of that called Chimurenga music. So these are the things we can learn, not necessarily only through vinyl, but just through listening, So it's really about talking about the practice of listening, studying the records when you have them. And most of the time, finding African music is really not that easy in Africa itself. And a big chunk of this collection has been through traveling abroad, and when we find them, they're not affordable. So, it is really hard to try and be a collector of our own sounds because they're just not there, or they've just been, the prices have been so expensive, and that's a whole nother story. So how we come to the music is also important. We're moving to Nigeria now. So here we go. Okay, so this is something I presented at my talk the other day, and it was really to talk about South Africa being Dutch, being colonized by the Dutch East India Company, and the devastating effects as a result of that, and that even though that was in the 1600s, there's still a lot of after effects of that happening now, and also the fact that it's kind of been silenced from memory, and a lot of people don't know or don't talk about it. Not only in South Africa, but here as well. Even though we have a Creole language called Afrikaans that came as a result of it, and also a community that is very, very, very diverse. And this is a record called, I don't know if you can see in the camera, it says the Malay Quarter, Songs of the Cape Malays. And, it's a very generic record in the sense that it's got some popular tunes from this particular community in the Cape. It talks about how their ancestors came from the Dutch East Indies, but really just from, brought over as enslaved people from South Asia, Southeast Asia. And, their music kind of fused, and there's tons of Netherlands folk songs on this album. But just perhaps as an unusual thing to play on the radio, just playing a track from here called Guma Dance, and I won't go into the history of it today, but just to make sure that it's heard, followed by a track by a band called The Genuines, which is a more current type of sound of this music. Okay, here we go.
Goma, 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 dance for me. Where you did it, goma, 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 dance for me. Where you did it, goma, 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 dance for me. Where you did it, goma, 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 dance for me. Dance, 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 dance. Halima, en is een dansen, en dat is lief van, en dat is alles met de kumasa. En Halima, en is een dansen, en dat is lief van, en dat is alles met de kumasa. En Halima, en en is een danser, en dat is hiervan, en dat is alle in de kwassa. Dans, 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 dans. Dans, 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 dans. Als die kraat, wil je niet in koma, 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 dansen. Nee, wil je niet in koma, 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 dansen. Ik hakka hier, ik hakka daar, ik hakka jemaka. Ik zwaaia hier, ik zwaaia daar, ik zwaaia jemaka. Ik hakka hier, ik hakka daar, ik hakka jemaka. Ik zwaaia hier, ik zwaaia daar, ik zwaaia jemaka. Dans, 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 dans.
So if so this is the album cover. The band is called the Genuines, and the album is called Guma, which is a type of sound that emerged from the Cape. And with multiple influences, you can identify it by the drum beat. And also, this tune that I played now was called The Struggle, or The Struggle. And if you look on the album cover, because it was banned under apartheid, so it's really, speaking out about the police brutality, the state of emergency, the oppression. And this was a record by the national broadcaster, and it says "Avoid" on the cover. So it's very hard to find these records, and there's a good reason why that happens. So yeah, I hope that was interesting to some of you. And now we're going to my favorite place, Guinea.
Anakaya, 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 Anakaya.
I think one of the things that's important to emphasize is that, like being here, coming from a place that has such strong Dutch colonial roots, knowing a language with words that are similar, seeing architecture that looks very much the same like back home, a grid system of architecture that exists in the Cape, the city centre is the same as the typical Dutch grid architectural style. So many names that haven't been changed. There's that was like, that's a legacy from like the 1600s, and then post the Dutch colonial vibe, there was the British, so after the Dutch we had the British, and after the British we had the Afrikaner National Party, and so South Africa has not really had a time to heal from its deep colonial legacy. And this is one of the reasons for me personally, it's important to listen and learn and look deeper into the continent to learn more, because we were kept quite separate growing up. We were fed mostly things from the West, so I know more about Europe and America than I do about my own country. And it's very important, I feel like, to play these sounds out and to kind of teach in a indirect way. So we're moving next on to Orchestra Baobab, and then I'll be playing my last tune. So this is from Senegal.
Ajakunda damadima Babu da fedo mama sida dinke ya kunyimaga Balada fe ya kunyimaga Ajakunda damadima Babu da fedo mama sida dinke ya kunyimaga Joya kuo kumuke ala bejola wala Ni moya kunyima ke tasa fondo kule ale ya moe La fe la mtajela kwesa tara wasene farma Balada fe ya kunyima ke aja kunda damalima Babu da fe do mama sira dinke ya kunyima Balada fe ya kunyimaga Aja kunda da madima Babu da fe do mama sira dinke ya kunyimaga Ui la ila jombe ni daga Obe ala bolo Babu da fe do mao alman bala duwa jabila Nabula le payi nyokana asore siye kenyata Wina pagao alma sejo iriwala Balada feye kunyimaga Aja kunda damadima Babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga Balada feye kunyimaga Aja kunda damadima Babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga balada fe ye kunyimaga aja kunda da madima babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga balada fe ye kunyimaga aja kunda da madima babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga ah mama jombe ni danya obe alabolo babu da fedo mao alma bala tuwa jadi samula le fay nyokarna asore si wina pakao alma sejo yiriwa balada feye kunyimaga aja kunda da madima babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga balada feye kunyimaga aja kunda da madima babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga balada feye kunyimaga aja kunda da madima babu da fedo mama sira dinke ye kunyimaga
I just wanted to say big thanks again to Operator Radio in Rotterdam. Thank you to everyone out there listening, and it's been a pleasure being here with you today. Thank you.